Good afternoon. Michael Green here from West Coast British Racing, and welcome back to the channel. Got a little tire story for you, and we're working on the Honda Africa Twin. We just did a long-range test on the Pirelli Scorpion knobbies, which did quite well. Mileage-wise, went in the tubes. The grip in the dirt was fabulous. We come down a couple of gravel roads that are combo dirt and gravel. And that Africa Twin, even when you're running the traction control to limit some of the wheel spin, it'll still spin up the tire, even at 3 digits. Problem was on the highway. The front tire from heavy braking started to cup so bad that the back edge of the leading edge was high, the rear edge was right down onto the carcass itself. It was getting that bad. So yesterday, 2nd of July, my buddies at HK Cycle, Livermore, mounted up the new Dunlops. And we've got new Dunlops we're gonna go talk about. But while we're sitting in the house here, yes, this is my house, and you see one of the Ducatis here behind me, somebody suggested that I should let this be known. I was lucky enough to have Jones, himself, my sponsor. And Hap sponsored me for nearly 17 years. And during that time, I became associated with Avon tires. And the first ones that we had, but go back into history in the 40s and the 50s, post-war, Avon tires were nearly unbeatable. If you were at the Isle of Man or on the continent running the Continental Circus, as they called it, or the World Championship races, most likely you were on Avons because they had everybody beat. The Avon GP tire was just unbelievable. Well, over the years, they had gotten away from motorcycle racing and the tires weren't so hot. And mind you, I started road racing at the end of the 70s. And we were running on Dunlop K81s, and Dunlop K81s were cool. A triangulated tire, go Google it, you find some cool pictures for those that you don't know. You guys like me, you know all about K81s. We had 3 types. We had English ones, American ones, Japanese ones. And each one, the rubber compound was a bit different. And when I say that, is that where was I going? The English was the softest, then the Americans, then the Japanese. So when we would go to Ontario for the Ontario AFM 6-hour race, which was in 1978 was the On Any Sunday 2, and we had Cook Nielsen chase us around for a number of laps thinking we were going to get in the movie, and we ended up on the cutting room floor. Anyway, we were racing on Dunlops like many people. I never raced anything that ran slicks because I always raced productions. And when we're running the small bore Grand Prix bikes, these frames weren't designed to run slicks. It would put undue load through the system. Anyway, so I ended up racing on some Avons a few times. And one that brought to mind was we went to Riverside, 81. No, it wasn't 81. We were still running K181Rs in a 6-hour 1981 at Riverside. But we went down there for an AFM Battle of the Twins race in February, maybe 83, I think. And we had these new Avons. And oh my God, it was so cold and the wind was blowing and the things were absolutely terrible. I couldn't come around 9. I mean, you looked like I was racing a dirt bike on wet grass. I mean, I came into the pits and Brett's like, "What's wrong?" I just won't go around the corners. It didn't even go straight. And I wish I could remember. Dark hair, glasses, worked for Dunlop. Come on, somebody put in the comments, put his name in there. I know you know. Comes over to me and he looking at the tires and he goes, "You're gonna kill yourself on that thing. Take those wheels off and bring them over and put some tires on it." I said, "I don't have any money for tires." And he turned around and he looks at me and he says, "I didn't say anything about money. get the wheels off. So we got the back wheel off, run it in there. He put a Dunlop on it. Come back, did the front, got the front one on, went out, got second. The only thing I was short was on the gear. I needed one more tooth off the back to pull the top end down the chute. And the chute from, on the long course, from coming out of 8 all the way to the entrance of 9 is well over a mile and change. So, you know, you're on the paint. You got to be in the draft if you want to go to the front. And anyway, I got a second. I was grinning like an idiot. So in my report back to HAPS on the Monday was that I raced on Dunlops. And we continued to do so for a while. And we were even up into now, what were we? God, I got to think about it. I'm going to backtrack now, okay? So I'm going to backtrack. We were racing Dunlops in 1981, which was a K181R, which means it was a sticky compound, but it was updated a bit. And the first race I ever won on my 750 Triumph Twin was September 1970. No, it wasn't. First race I ever won on a road race was 79. I got my license 78, won a 250 GP race, 250 modified production race on Chris Quinn's Ducati, which had S41 Michelin's on it. At the time, they were great. Today, they suck. Anyway, we were running K81s on a Triumph, K181Rs on a Triumph. Raced the first ever Battle of Twins race, AFM, last race of the day. We got a 5th in the 750 production race with a 750 Twin. Go out in the Battle of Twins race, last race of the day. The only thing we did was put the megaphones on and bump the main jets up. It was beautiful weather out, September, and led lap, flag to flag, every lap, just disappeared. Triumph was just running. Guy from Dunlop was so cool, comes over and gives us new 591s to test for a race right after that, or I'd have to go look in my book. It could have been the following season, don't remember. We went to Laguna Seca, and these tires were bigger. They were heavier, they were bigger, and the Triumph hated them. You couldn't do anything with them. They were absolutely terrible. I went back over to Dom, guys, and put the K81s back on it. Really? He's, what's it doing? I told him, and he's like, oh, okay. So he put K181s back on, and on instant lap times. Tires can be a fun thing if you know what you're doing. So anyway, I ended up getting to race on numerous tires. I won the, what did I do? God, 1985, I was riding a 250 Ducati and a 750 Triumph at the same time. Having raced Chris Quinn's 250 Ducati in 1980, the whole season, I learned to ride the 750 like a 250, where you don't slow it down and keep the corner and speed way up. And all of a sudden, instead of in the middle of the pack, I was at the front. The Ducati's a wonderful bike to ride because it just goes around the corners with no effort at all. And if you got the thing hooked up and you got the right gear ratio on it, the only thing you can't beat is a guy with a an RD250 or a freaking Can-Am, because he just out horsepowered you. But you get into twisties, the Ducati was unbeatable. Anyway, we went to Daytona in 86, and because I had done what I'd done the year before, I think the man's name, Mario something, from Michelin, gave me a set of very, very trick and very limited tires. They weren't giving them out to many people. He had Walt from Hap Jones, who was the manager, shows up with these tires in the shop. He says, Michelin just sent you these, put these on for Daytona. Put them on, had to change all the gear ratios because it was a low profile tire, and started 30-something on the last row. Lap 10 out of 12, I took the lead and won the race. Coolest part was when I came in victory lane there, who was waiting but my buddy Dick Mann, and that was a really cool day. Later in the week, we were racing the Triumph in the Battle of Twins. They wouldn't let us run the Avons because they say they hadn't been tested at Daytona and all this bullshit, when they'd actually been tested and certified at Myra in England, which is even faster than Daytona. So we called Hap and says, hey, I can't run the Avons. He's a Michelin distributor. We're going to put Michelins on. Michelin didn't have a rear tire tall enough for us to pull the gear. So we had to go to Dunlop's again. We're pulling a 130/90/18 rear tire, and the back sprocket was so small that the chain was dragging on the hub. And we qualified. It's a stupid speed of over 153 miles an hour, which was really cool. Dick Mann was giving me the antics. He said, everything I told you on Monday is out the window. Now this is qualifying. The traps are here and there. When you come off the East Bank, get up to the wall and dive off and head for the apron. Apron's the shortest way around, yada, yada, yada. Okay, Richard, off we go. So anyway, we had some fun, all I can say. Over the years, though, we ended up doing more deals with Avon. I ended up being there at one point. I was the chief tire tester for North America, period. And we would get stacks of tires, would show up at the shop. They'd come in to Hap Jones Distributing in San Jose. They'd run them up to here, and we'd have to go through the numbers. And by looking at the carcass numbers, it would tell us what compound was on it. We put one on for Brett, who rode for me, Brett Morrishead, on one of my 350 Ducatis. This thing runs like a scalded cat. It's actually sitting about a foot from me. That's a 250 in the background. And he said, I want this tire. And we're at Sears Point at the AMA National. It's hotter than Hades out. It's north 3 digits. And I said, no, you need this. No. He's arguing. Fine, I'll put the sticky one on. And I knew better, so I put a lot of air in it, like 34, 35 pounds. The guy dropped the flag, and he laid waste to Dave Roper, just blew his doors off. Brett was gone. 3 laps, Brett did this. The 4th lap, he comes flying into turn 11. He's sliding the back end coming in. And as he's accelerating out, he's pointing to the back tire and giving me thumbs down, which is telling me the rear tire's gone. And before long, Dave reels him in, passes him. Brett ends up 3rd. He comes in. This tire's garbage. We sent it back to England a couple of weeks later. And Mike Barnard calls up from England late one night and says, what on earth did you do to this tire? The guys in the racing department can't figure it out. I said, it was about 100 and change out. It's all in the details of the report. And I said, he was pushing. I said, for a qualifying tire, it was fabulous. Other than that, it was crap. So anyway, we're going to go outside now and go look at the tires on the Africa Twin for you. Okay? Stand by. Okay, we're outside on my driveway. I'm not going to the shop. The traffic is insane. Went over to car wash, got these on. They've got 60 miles on them. This is the new Dunlop. It's a Trail Max Mission tire. It's a 90/90/21 on the front. And this back one's a big butter. It's a 150/70 B18. And I mean, look at the freaking tread pattern on this bugger. Look at this, right? So the problem with the Pirelli on the highway was the blocks going left to right, big blocks across the diameter of the tire. Out in the dirt, pretty good. It really dug in and hooked up to some degree. I mean, the only way I was going to hook it up completely, being I was running street air pressures of about 38 pounds, was to drop it down to about 20, and then it would have really hooked up. But the front was terrible. For mileage on the street, don't get me wrong. Pirelli out in the dirt was great, but I don't ride it in the dirt enough. And this thing's heavy, right? This isn't a 71 SL100 Honda that I raced in the day that weighed 160 pounds, and I weighed 120, and the motor was pumped to the moon, and it was like, see you later, and you could ride the wheels off it. But this will ride you if you're not careful. But look at this naughty beast. So this tread system, probably taking a lot of design work and a lot of testing work on someone's part. And I don't get to go out and test this stuff, so we kind of do it on our own. And no, Dunlop did not give me these tires. The other ones, a friend of Pirelli. Look at that, just got it washed, it's already dirty, right? So anyway, we're gonna get some miles on these things. This bike's got just shy of 15,000 miles on it already. Most of that's on the freeway. 99.9% of the time's on the freeway. But check out the tread pattern on the front, right? And this is a directional tire. It's got arrows on the sides, tells you which way to put it on, all right? And let's hope you put it on correct, because I didn't do it. Getting lazy in my old age, changing tires, a pain in the butt. And oh, this one's made in Japan, says right there. But as a guy that raced on Dunlops, as I just told you, so my mechanic left his sticky fingers all over my wheel. Anyway, we thought this might entertain you guys that are running these bikes. And if you want to come out and do some riding and some other good stuff, here's an event I created eons ago. But go to my website, westcoastbritish.com. Excuse me, screwed that up. No, I'm not going to do that. westcoastbritishracing.com if you want to see the racing stuff. If you want to go see stuff for this bike to go play in the desert, you got to go to offroadexperience.com. And we have a YouTube page of the same name, Off-Road Experience, one big word. Registered trademark, so don't be fooled by the other guys. And we do off-road adventures in California, mostly in Nevada. See what you want to do. Give us a holler. And like, subscribe, and tell your buddies. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.